Okay, here we go. This is Garrett. I've talked to children of God all over the world, and I'll come across a man or woman who says that they're humble. And when a child of God, a true chosen one, actually thinks that they're humble, I wanted to share with you that right there is a high level of pride. And that there is nobody that is humble. Not your pastor, not your family members, not your favorite preacher on YouTube. Nobody. Nobody is humble except Jesus. You see, we all have a fleshly nature inside of us. It's a sinful, carnal, fleshly nature that everybody has in existence except Jesus. When a baby is born, God puts that fleshly nature inside of them. It's already there when the baby comes out of the mother's stomach. If you don't believe me, look at the way the baby acts its first 6 months. It's crying, complaining, temper tantrums. It's jealousies, greed, and selfishness. All of that is inside the sinful carnal nature. And if some of you are thinking, no, Garrett, that's just the normal way babies act. It is the normal way babies act because they have the sinful carnal nature inside of them. And that's why they're acting that way. So, when Jesus was born, he did not act that way. Number one, he was perfect. So he's not going to be acting the way that the babies act. Number two, he didn't have the sinful carnal nature inside of him. He had no fleshly nature in him. He had no pride in him. Pride was not even found in him. Jesus was humble. We are not. Jesus is the definition of being humble. So what does God want his children to do? He wants us to go to war against the pride by fighting against it, refusing it, pushing it down, pushing it out of our hearts, praying against it, preaching to ourselves against it. Every chance we get to go to war against the pride that is found inside of us. Everybody has a sinful carnal nature except Jesus. Everybody has pride inside of them. And if that wasn't enough, God gave us the double whammy, because I believe there is a demon of pride that comes to us, that comes inside of us, that lives inside of us, and pushes the pride through our heart and soul and mind, pushing the pride, forcing the pride to come out in our thoughts, in our imaginations, in our speaking, typing, thinking. That's what God has done to humanity. So we need to war against these tools of pride that God is using in our lives. And by doing that, with God's grace, we're going to become more humble, more gentle, more meek, more patient, more compassionate, more understanding. In other words, the sanctification process that God is doing in our lives is going to move forward with His grace. One way is by going to war against the pride.